Okay, in previous lecture we saw central nervous system and its parts. In this lecture we'll discuss regarding peripheral nervous system. So peripheral nervous system comprises of spinal cord and brain. It has 12 cranial nerves and 31 spinal nerves. The cranial nerves arises from brain and spinal nerves arises from spinal cord. Next, autonomic nervous system. This is another nervous system apart from central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, which is autonomic nervous system. So different concepts we have in autonomic nervous system. All the nerves originating from peripheral nervous system can be included in autonomic nervous system. It has two major divisions, which are known as sympathetic and parasympathetic. One is sympathetic autonomic nervous system, another one is parasympathetic autonomic nervous system. So sympathetic nervous system regulates the body for intense activities, or it can fight or flight. It can provide fight or flight response. Fight or flight response here means whenever there is any emergency, the response that comes would be considered as fight or flight response in emergency situations. In such activities, sympathetic nervous system regulates the body. This next is parasympathetic nervous system, which is quite opposite. Whenever the sympathetic nervous system responses in intense activity, the parasympathetic nervous system relaxes the muscles, and hence it's opposite to sympathetic autonomic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is opposite to sympathetic nervous system, as it relaxes the body or slows down the eye energy function of the body. Next is reflex action. We already know about the reflex action, but how the brain responds to reflex action and what is included in reflex arc. Reflex arc refers to the path which is followed by electric impulse generated during the reflex action. The impulse that travels from any receptor organ to the brain or the spinal cord is processed here. The information is brought back towards the muscles for necessary action. Hence, the reflex arc consists of receptor organ, sensory neuron, interneuron, effector organ, and efferent neurons. The receptor organ is the one which senses. The sensory neuron are the neurons which can sense the changes. The interneuron will carry the message towards effector organ, and the effector organ will respond when the message is being carried towards efferent neurons. So this way, receptor organ, sensory neuron, interneuron, effector organ, and efferent neurons are the components of reflex arc and forms an reflex arc. Role of brain in reflex action. Reflex action occurs as auto-generated instantaneous response towards the stimuli or the changes around the surrounding. For example, sensory nerves are responsible for heat detection, which is connected with the nerves, and hence we can move our hand. Here the entire process of detecting the heat signal from the nervous and responding to it forms a reflex arc, and reflex arc results in reflex action generated in spinal cord, and information is sent to brain. So brain helps us to record the action and remember the thing for future reference, and so whenever we face such situation in the future, we'll respond in a same way. This information helps people to remain aware of similar stimuli or prevent themselves if the situation arises again in the future. Introduction to receptors. So receptors, there are different kinds of receptors in our body. Receptors are also known as sense organs of the animals. which are classified as phonoreceptors. The phonoreceptors are the receptors which are present in the inner ear. The main function of hearing and maintaining the body balance is possible because of phonoreceptors. The second one is photoreceptors. The photoreceptors are present in eyes and the main function is to support vision. So whatever we visualize or we respond towards the visual stimuli is because of photoreceptors. Next is thermoreceptors. Thermo, as the name suggests, thermo means related to heat, so which are present under the skin and they are responsible for touch, pain or heat. The next is olfactory receptors. Olfactory receptors are present in the nose which assist for smelling. Next is gustatory receptors. Gustatory receptors are present in the tongue and they assist to taste. Protection of the central nervous system. So we know that central nervous system is very important part for a body or any individual. So this should be protected. And the brain is covered by 3 main layers for protection. The first one is bony skull. Bony skull is also called cranium. Bony skull is also called cranium. Second is cerebrospinal fluid. The fluid which is present below the layer of meninges is cerebrospinal fluid, which is also called as CSF. The third one is meninges. The third layer is meninges. Meninges includes dura mater, arachnoid mater and pia mater. You don't have to remember this, but you have to remember the 3 layers which protects our brain. One is bony skull, also known as cranium. Another one is cerebrospinal fluid, and the third one is meninges. Thank you.